We are often reminded of the human cost of war. 71 of our soldiers have come home from Afghanistan in flag-draped coffins. The financial cost, however, remains an issue largely outside the debate. But as our Mike Armstrong tells us, we've reached the point now where you have to go all the way back to the war against the Nazis to find a time when we spent more on fighting for a cause.
Lieutenant General Rick Hillier stepped out of a Hercules mid-afternoon, the chief of the defense staff making his first visit to Afghanistan since the Royal 22nd Regiment took over the mission.
I've got nothing to say, folks. I just arrived. I haven't seen anybody except General LaRoche. I've got nothing to say, really.
I'm going to ask you about your plans for the week.
I'm just going to go up to the
Now, some are questioning how much those troops are costing. According to a new study by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives released today, Canada now ranks 13th in military spending worldwide, up from 16th in just 1 year. In fact, the centre says accounting for the rate of inflation, Canada is now spending more money than it was at the height of the Cold War when Canadians were fighting in Korea.
Billions of dollars have been pushed into military spending without any real clear sense of what priorities we should be placing on it.
Military spending in Canada has been on the rise since the late 90s, but it was 9/11 that drove the numbers higher. Since the fiscal year prior to the attacks, military spending is up 27%. Now, there are a lot of ways to compare countries. There's spending per capita, spending relative to the economy, or just straight dollars. The Centre for Policy Alternative prefers straight dollars to support its stance that Canada is spending too much.
When you take all of the dollars that have been spent each year and adjust it for inflation, this year we go above the 1952 budget. That was the peak of the Cold War at a time when thermonuclear weapons were first being tested.
I think that what they've done is that they have compared us to the world in terms of the absolute number of dollars involved, and that's a fair comparison, but it's not the only comparison. So if you crank in the percentage of GDP comparison, you get a very different conclusion.
Throw all the figures together, and by early 2008, Canada will have spent more than $7 billion on the mission. The question many are struggling with now is how long that mission will last. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Kandahar.